You as a source is in this game for the experience. And the higher frequency you can achieve, the better experience you will be able to have. The higher frequency you have on your frequency bodies, the more harmony, the better experience you will have. The better you can program your subconscious body that will be the enforcer of your reality, that will hold the energy that is pushed out to the matrix and reflected back to you. The better you can communicate to your subconscious what you want to experience and how you want to perceive the game, well, the better experience you will have. And I have mentioned how it ultimately would look like this. You have 9/11, which is ultimately freeing, ultimately beautiful. That the game has a truth, life has a truth that ultimately will set you free. And you have this truth in the center of your head, as that is what you are. You are ultimately free. You are ultimately happy. You ultimately know the game. But if you haven't reached the consciousness in your frequency body, your conscious frequency body, of what the truth of the game is, well, then your frequency bodies won't be able to harmonize into that level of frequency for you to be able to have that experience. And I have mentioned how you simply can visualize any cloud you might have. Let's say that you think about this glass and you perceive it as a poor man's glass. It's a tiny little glass that is useless. And you recognize that this way of thinking about it is a cloud. It is a thing. And it is right here. Or maybe it's right here. And you can try to simply just sweep it away, like this. Because ultimately, in the 9/11, there is a ultimately freeing way of perceiving this glass. You will be neutral about it, but in that neutrality you will see that it's a glass that is a part of this matrix, and it is great. You will be neutral. You won't be emotional about it whatsoever or have any extreme thoughts or ways of thinking about this glass. So you can simply just remove the cloud and intend for the truth, the neutral truth about the glass to be what remains. And that is the experience you instantaneously will have. Especially if you can hold the glass with the open hand and let any previous ideas or programming you had about the glass simply go. But let's say that that doesn't work. Let's say that you weren't able to communicate this truth to your subconscious, to have a real and profound experience of this glass being perceived in the highest frequency, most neutral, beneficial way possible. Well, then it would benefit you to have a high frequency tool belt. One of your tools till now would be to sweep it away with the consciousness of the truth of the game and any unbeneficial ego way of perceiving something would be a cloud, a lower frequency that simply is a misunderstanding. You could simply sweep it away. If it doesn't work, well, then you need other methods. But that doesn't mean that sweeping it away won't work for you later. Of course, you can reach a frequency level where everything can simply just be swept away. But we're talking about communicating. You're communicating to your subconscious that the way I am perceiving this glass right now is unbeneficial. It's not creating the freedom that I so want. And you're communicating to the subconscious that we have to remember the truth of the game. Ultimately, it is beautiful and freeing. And this way of perceiving this glass is not freeing. It's not beautiful. And we want to change it. So right there you have another way of communicating it. Simply just talk to your subconscious. You might have heard that you are your best friend. Or you might have heard people say that before. What does it really mean? Well, it means that your subconscious is your best friend. Your subconscious way of perceiving yourself and this game and what you are able to do or what you are able to experience should be your best friend. So communicate to your best friend and say it as it is. I'm now perceiving this glass to be outside of center. I would want it to be centered, neutral, ultimately freeing. And as you have learned to hold things with an open hand, not push or pull, not force anything, but simply let whatever you visualize happen, well, you might reach through to your subconscious and see that the way you feel about this glass simply changes. So now we have more tools in the tool belt. You can have the consciousness of what this cloud really is and in what universe it exists. For so to just sweep it away. Or you can talk to the cloud. Talk to the cloud. Does it need to be here? Is it benefiting me? Do I need it anymore? What is it doing here? Does it want to leave? And both of these ways I now have mentioned that will be a very good way of dealing with any subconscious programming might be enough for anyone to start with. I could mention other things that maybe suddenly sounds a little complicated, even though they really aren't. And of course, as you raise your frequency, you will find your own ways. I'm not saying that anything has to be done like I just mentioned. It's just very simple, fundamental ways of dealing with this that will work. It's just the essence of what subconscious reprogramming really is. But ultimately you want to feel free and flowing. If you encounter a cloud or you sit down to meditate or enter the silence or simply just balance yourself a little, and you were to encounter an energy that you would want to let go of, or you could simply just dance with it, intend for it to pass, to flow away as you're moving with it. And that could work. Whatever works for you. Or just intentionally using your energies. Because of course, what we see here is your energy field. But ultimately, subconscious work is about changing your experience. It's about reprogramming an unbeneficial experience so you can have a different type of experience. And there are infinite amounts of ways to communicate this change that you want to the subconscious. I have now mentioned a few, and a good fundamental understanding of what it is and how it works. And you will realize more ways as you raise your frequency.